Hiya, it's LindaLee and welcome back to my channel. And I have another eco die reveal for you. This eco die was actually done specifically for the SWAT journal that I'm going to be doing in Junk Journal, Junkies, etc. I did it with a lot more white space in mind, and I threw in some more fabrics in there as well. But first, what I'm going to do is just show you the prints, and then I'll show you what I put together for that particular journal so far. They are always well, not always, but 8 by 12. So this face piece right here, see how it's a little pink? Is the red stripes that were on the box actually threw some ink. So this was closest to the outer side of the sandwich that I put together. And so this page has pink on it. I probably won't use it in this particular journal only because of that. If you remember, this napkin here is pretty much the color story for what I'm going for in the journal. So I probably won't use this particular piece because of that. But this side I intentionally didn't have any plants in. So with the intention of it being journaling space, so that people would be more inclined to write more on these papers is really what I was going for. I didn't want it to be full of, different plants, because then, some are less apt to want to write over top of that. So I wanted to use or leave more white space in this whole bundle. All right, and I still used the smaller pieces of paper layered in so that I would have little frame within each page. Did I show you the other side? There we go. All right, so again, more white space. So the leaves are going to be more on the outer parts or in the corners, or kind of framing the overall page. Some of them go through the middle still, but a lot of them not as much as, my typical prints would. And this one is a little more washed out in parts too, which is really nice. I'm kind of happy for that. So yeah, a little bit more journaling space. So I'm going to use my raspberry tea-dyed papers. I showed you that in a previous video, but I'll show you, the coloring for that. Let's say I'll probably use this page this way because of this side. And another one. Now I probably won't use all of these papers in the journal, but you never know, when we hunt and gather for our projects. Now this one goes up the middle, but as I was saying, when we hunt and gather for our projects, we always end up with a lot more than we actually use. So but yeah, this is, I'm sorry if I didn't already say, this is turmeric. So it was a 5-quart kettle, aluminum kettle with turmeric and 2 cups of coffee. I think in the other one that I used, there was actually 4 cups of coffee. So the coloring is a little bit different between the 2 batches. And you'll see that even more so in the fabrics. See, isn't that cool pages though, with just the little leaves in the corner? You still can kind of see, shadow imprints from, other layers, but it's pretty cool. I like it a lot. I'm so happy with this. Now that I have this actually done, I will probably get started pretty quick on the whole journal. All right, so this is intentionally left blank. And one more page intentionally left blank. Oh no, it looks like I got one more. So here's another one. And then the other side. So those are the 8 by 12 parts. And then I have the 4 by 6s. So these are the pieces that left the little framework here. So these were in here that left the little framework. On the big pages. So I have no idea how many of these I have, but they came out really nice. I love the fern plant. The fern plant is the only plant I used in this particular little batch. I did use almost an entire pillowcase, or at least the majority of it. It was a pillowcase that I thrifted, but we'll get to that in a few moments. I'm going to show you the rest of these little prints, and then some small envelopes, and then show you what I've gathered. So here, if you can see it, can you see it? This is right here. So that was the little piece of paper that was up against the lace. So those are the small papers. And now the envelopes. So the envelopes, I didn't do the same thing as far as, leave it primarily blank. I think I have a leaf up through the middle and across the body of the whole thing for the most part. I think this is my favorite one. I just love the muted colors. Oop. That was the back. And the front. This one is the front. I have them all mixed up. Sorry about that. But I don't have any of the envelopes that are completely unglued. I had that in the previous turmeric batch. And we'll see those briefly when I show you the rest of what I've collected for the journal itself. But this is the first journal that I'm making with my Eco Die prints. So I'm kind of excited. This is going to be again up for our October swap. So what the swaps are is I make a journal and then I present it on the 1st in a video flip through, and then anybody who's interested in the journal would do a flip through of a journal that they made, and then we would trade. So if you ever want to potentially have access to many journals being presented for something that you make and doing a trade, what you need to do is go to the events and sign up. And there's different months that are open. We can also do more than one in a particular month. Right now, for this month of September, Barbie has a beautiful journal up. So, but anyway, this here is some seam binding. This is white seam binding that I got from Kelly's shop by Gon's Variety. And what I did is I just kind of threw it in the pot and let it, kind of simmer on the side. Which is also what I did with this piece of the pillowcase. So it's just a strip that I tore and I threw it in the side. So it was folded, but then I just kind of, let it be around this edge of the pot and inside the water. That's why it's pretty wrinkled. And it's pretty saturated. And when we compare it to the other piece, see the difference? So it's kind of nice because I got really the same color, but different variations of it. So it'll add a lot of interest having the different tones in the fabrics. So I haven't even really decided how I'm going to use the fabrics yet. And I probably won't use them all, but I have them at least. These are different pieces of the same pillowcase. So when I ripped it into a flat piece of fabric, this was part of where one of the seams was along the side, and then I just tore a strip, but you can kind of see where I tore it away from the other piece of the same fabric. They were just end to end. And I had this folded up in with the papers, so as well as this piece here. And this is the inside edge of the same seam, part of the same seam actually, because you can see, can you see the serger stitches? So this is the inside stitching of it. So I'm not sure where I am for you to get the best look. So, and then this is a piece that was also folded into the papers. So you can kind of see here an actual image of a fern. This, I believe, was just folded and it didn't have a leaf in there or a stem. Here you can kind of see the front and back of a stem. There was no plant in this layer. Okay, I think I'm live again. I was just getting a phone call. Then I just let it go to voicemail, but it interrupts the recording. So, but as I was saying, there was no plant in this fold here. And there was a plant in here. And then this is like the inside of the whole thing. So there were no direct plants on the inside part. If I can get this open, sorry. But you can see some of the color variation that bled all the way through. So I have this piece of fabric to use in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. I haven't used this stuff in my own journals yet, so I'm kind of excited. And then this is the edge of that same pillowcase. So it's got, you know, like an embroidered lace type of edging on it. So it was half cotton, half polyester. And with it having polyester in it, I was a little concerned. I didn't know how it was going to take to dyeing, but it worked out really well. You can kind of see where the plants were again. So there was a plant in here, right here, where it was folded. And then there was a plant here where it was folded. And then if we flip it this way, I think there was a plant right in here too. And it was folded. Here's, you can kind of see here where there's a straight line. Did the other side? Yeah, the back side didn't have any real plants underneath it. And then if we look on the inside, you can see color variations, but the actual leaf impressions are more dominant on the other side. The ones that were more direct contact with the stems of the fern themselves. So I have this one to play with too. I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to it. I got a lot going on, people, between this one and my design team video. Someone just walked past my front window, sorry. It's distracted. So that was the entire batch. All right, so fabrics and papers all together. And then this is kind of what I've gathered so far for the journal itself. You already saw some of this stuff. I don't think you saw this. This is just a piece of vintage sheet that I stamped that I'm going to put inside of the journal itself. This here is a piece of lace from a bundle of vintage lace pieces I got from Kelly in the Bygones Variety Shop. This is a hanky that I thrifted on my last honey hole find up at the flea market. So I don't know if I'm going to make a glue bath and dip this in it so it's like a page, you know, like Betty does in hers sometimes, or if I'm going to use it on the cover or what. I don't know for sure, but it works color-wise, so I'm going to use it probably. You've seen the flowers that I've made, so I don't know which ones I'm going to use, if I'm going to use all of them or just a couple. But these here, I have a video. But these here, what I'll do is I'll link the video that I show how I make them, and everything else that I mention. You know, like Kelly's shop, and I have some paper in here that Steffi made. So what I'll do is I'll link her shop, just so you can see where everything comes from in case you want something yourself. But this was in this particular batch, just a piece of cotton fabric or cotton lace. It's like crocheted. You guys saw the bed skirt. This is so yummy. But I've got that to play with along with the lacy pillowcase. I'm not going to open it all the way up. You guys have seen that. And then I pulled a few of the papers from that other batch that I had previously shown. So here's a couple of the watercolor papers. Full stems on both sides for the most part. For whatever reason, the watercolor took a lot of the saturation, a lot more so than the drawing paper. So this is like 140 pounds, and this drawing paper is like 70 pounds, 65 or 70 pounds. So I just have a few pieces of the paper. So it's not that much different from the others. Here's an intentionally left blank page. No, I think this one was accidental. This one I didn't mean to leave blank. So I'm going to use kind of the some of the washed out, some of the really strong ones, a few of the little papers, a couple of my favorite ones I pulled. I pulled some that have more brown in them actually. And then this here, I have two of the envelopes that I made. So this I used We Are Memory Keepers envelope punch board, so that I could make an envelope with no glue. That way I can use them for journaling on the inside, or I can hide something, you know, like journal pages or postcards or ephemera on the inside. So I have two of those. See, again, I pulled the ones with the brown. I have a little bit of parchment paper from when I did the raspberry tea dye. It didn't do anything to the paper, but give it all kinds of nice wrinkles. So there's no real color on it. Every now and then you might see a drip of something, but not really. So I only have one piece that I pulled for that. This is the paper that I was talking about that's from Steph. So I will put her shop in the description as well. I don't have a muffin pan, and at the time that I ordered this, I didn't really I had too much going on. I didn't really want to do any coffee staining on paper. So I ordered some from her, and this is what she sent me. So this is part of the order with the muffin pan. And then we just got some really nice dark grungy brown. So the coffee. Isn't that awesome? I'm not sure what was in the water that gave us these really dark spots, if that was actually coffee grounds or what. But I love it. It's awesome. So that's from Stefanie. This is a photocopy of a designer piece of paper that looks like wallpaper. I just made some copies of it because I only have one page left. And yeah, so I just, like I said, I made copies of it because it's one of my favorites to use, especially this color. This is actually my favorite color. So you can see how cool and awesome it goes with everything that we've been looking at. You've seen these in my previous journal that I made. It was for Milagros, the Women's Inspirational Journal. So I've got a bunch of the photocopies of the music magazine. It's from the 1930s. It's just really brittle, so I can't really use its pages as they are. Where did I have more of it in here somewhere. Anyway. And then random pieces from free public domain, I guess it is. These are old pieces that are just free. They're not copyrighted anymore. This one is another one that didn't have any copyright to it. So it was in my color scheme, so that's where I printed it. This is a manifest from a passenger list from the immigration. None of it's legible, and I printed it on like a document or certificate type paper. I think I have a couple of these. I printed out a couple. I don't know if I'm going to use it to do some collaging or what. And then this you saw me show as my happy accident. So these are a couple of documents that I printed out from that free public domain site as well. But they're just on graph paper. So what I'll probably do, and I'm sorry I keep saying so. What I'll probably do is some dry decoupage and put some of the flowers and birds, and on the back side there's butterfly and nest. So I'm going to put some of that on this graph paper. And I've got a couple of more yellow looking pages as well, also on graph paper. This one's a baptism certificate, and I'm not sure what this one was from. But it's going in the pile. So way more than I'll probably use. This, I'm not sure what this is, but it's yellow. This here, I don't think I actually have the fabric here. I had it close at hand yesterday. But what this is actually a curtain. A single panel sheer curtain. And I have more than enough fabrics to use, but I kind of liked the butterflies and the coloring and the lettering. So I'm either going to do some fussy cutting, because I did a few of each page that I put together. I'm either going to do fussy cutting, or I'll make like maybe an envelope, or I'm not sure. But again, it falls into my color palette, so I was pretty happy. In person, I don't know if this comes across on camera very well, but this has a little bit of blue in it. I don't have very much blue. So it's going to be a minimal color accent. I've got a little bit in this butterfly, but I'm not even sure where this came from. I collect stuff, so when I see it, I print it, and then I have a couple of pages, and I just set it aside until I have a project that it fits for, you know. And it fits for this one. Oh, these are the other pages from that music publication. So Etude is the name of it, and it's from 1930. I don't know if you can see it. 1930. So that is pretty much everything. Oh, this here, blue. I found a little bit of blue. It's like a zoomed in piece of, it was like, I don't know if it was presented as a background or wallpaper, but I have this that I might use somewhere along the way, because it's pretty much the same blue. So it looks good. And then my raspberry paper. So this is raspberry water, or raspberry tea stained. So this was the raspberry tea. And what I did is I put it in like a casserole bowl and threw this whole stack of paper in it, the whole thing. And then I took out little stacks of it and threw it in the oven and just, you know, dried it out small batches at a time. So in doing so, there's a lot of different variations of the gray, which is cool. I like that too. So here's another shade. So we've got a couple different shades even right there. So I won't use all of this, but I've got it. So that's everything for that particular journal. Oh, and the cover. I have a Cheez-It box. So this box is probably going to be the cover itself. And all the papers that I'm going to use and whatnot, I think it's going to be 2 fairly healthy signatures. Maybe 3. I don't know. But this is like the size of one of these folded pieces of paper. So if I take this paper and fold it in half, it's pretty much, well, I guess it's a little wider, 1/2 inch wider. That's right, because this is the same size as the Eco Prints, and this is an untrimmed piece of, you know, like copy paper. So these are 8.5. So these I'll end up trimming down a little bit. And then I had some of these. So this is just some pretty little leafy paper with the ivy and whatnot. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. I'm probably going to start putting this together tomorrow. I already started doing, I don't have it close. I keep rotating things around. I worked on the Tsunami Rose design team today. I started pulling for it and folding things and doing a little bit of distressing already. I'm running out of time. The end of the month is coming quick, and I'm going to start working with my brother in his office. So it's not quite full-time, but it's pretty much 32 hours or 35 hours, I guess it is. So I guess that's considered full-time, at least for benefits, right? But yeah, so I'm just going to have evenings and, you know, the weekend instead of just doing it whenever I want to, you know. But it's okay because I get to see my brother every day, and it'll make my time even more precious that I spend with my crafts and with you. So enjoy the rest of your evening or morning or wherever we are in the day. And thank you again for tuning in. I think at time of recording, I'm at 320 subscribers. It's pretty exciting because just a week ago, I was almost at 300. So thank you so much for your support and your time and your likes. It helps me in my YouTube journey, that's for sure. I will see you again probably tomorrow. For Friday Night Live, I've got some mail that I'm going to open. My birthday is on the weekend, so I have a Junk Journal Junkies, etc. Connections envelope. So, oops, my address. This is from, it actually says the birthday club on it, but it's from the Connections group. So I will see you tomorrow. Have an awesome afternoon. Take care. Bye-bye.